Did you realize there are 10 specific questions that can ignite feelings of desire, confusion, and even obsession in a woman? These are not compliments. They are not the cheesy pickup lines sourced from the internet. They are instruments of influence. Each question is engineered to bypass her emotional defenses and plant a thought that she will find impossible to shake. Because while the average man talks about himself, you will be the one who makes her reveal her innermost self. Machiavelli articulated it perfectly. True power isn't found in what you declare. It lies in what you can compel others to disclose. And women are not captivated by the man who is the most talkative. They are captivated by the man who truly listens and understands precisely what to ask. These 10 questions appear innocent on the surface, but concealed within them are the psychological triggers her mind is wired to respond to. They generate mystery, longing, and an emotional paradox, the exact formula the female brain requires to begin imagining you, obsessing over you, even when superior options are available. This video is not for men seeking cheap tricks. It is for men who grasp the art of strategy, because genuine seduction is not a product of words, it is a product of feelings, and it is in the realm of feelings that logic dissolves and attraction asserts its dominance. So pay close attention, because if you deploy these questions correctly, with perfect timing, and understand how to wield silence as a weapon, you will spark something within her that most men never can. Let us start. What is something a man does that makes you feel endangered, yet simultaneously makes you desire him more? This question does not merely probe attraction. It goes directly to her emotional precipice. It connects with a part of her that most people are afraid to ask about, the place where fear and desire merge into a single, potent emotion. You are not inquiring about her preferences in a man. You are inquiring about what disrupts her equilibrium, what unnerves her, and yet still irresistibly draws her in. That is precisely what makes this question both dangerous and unforgettable. Most men strive to be safe, agreeable, and predictable, easy to understand. But this question conveys a message to her without stating it outright. You are not here to offer safety. You are here to awaken something dormant inside her. And when you pose it with a calm presence, as if you are completely unafraid of her response, she will sense it. She may pause, reflect, and look at you in a new light. Then she might reveal something like, "I am drawn to men who don't require my presence but choose it anyway," or, "I am attracted to men who challenge me but also make me feel wanted." Listen carefully, because her answer, whatever it may be, is her emotional blueprint. You now possess the exact knowledge of the energy that excites her, even if it also confuses her. That is your strategic advantage. But here is the critical secret. Do not attempt to counterfeit that energy. Do not act aloof or toxic. Simply comprehend what she emotionally craves, and demonstrate that you are capable of generating it, but without the associated chaos. That equilibrium of presence and unpredictability, of strength and self-control, is the very thing that fosters obsession. She will not be able to logically explain why she can't stop thinking about you, but she won't be able to. Because this has nothing to do with logic. It is about the emotional whirlwind you made her experience, all without a single touch. And now, for the Machiavellian tactic. Once she provides her answer, pause for a beat. Look directly at her and say something like, "So what happens when a woman like you meets a man like that?" Or, "And what if I possessed that same energy?" Then, silence. Allow her to feel the weight of it. Let her mind wander. Because now, the very danger she just described, the exact feeling that captivates her, is what she's beginning to feel again. Right in that moment. With you. What is your most guarded weakness? The one that only someone truly exceptional could ever discover. This question doesn't land with force. It feels like a whisper. It glides past her defenses, gently yet with immense power. You are not simply asking to learn a secret. You are communicating something far more profound without saying it directly. I want to see the person you truly are, the part you keep hidden from the rest of the world. That resonates with her on a different level. Most men pose superficial questions. You are asking for something that exists far beneath all of that, her most private emotional vulnerability, the part of her that is fragile, perhaps even a little afraid of being truly seen, and that is precisely the reason this approach is so effective. Because when you ask this, you are not applying pressure. You are extending an invitation. It is not about force. It is about presence. She might be hesitant. She might avert her gaze and murmur, "I'm not sure I should answer that." And that is the ideal moment. You do not compel her to respond. You offer a gentle smile and say, "You don't have to. I'm already imagining what it might be." Boom! You have just forged something powerful, a shared, intimate, emotional space. You have made her feel as though you already understand her, even without her uttering a single word. This is what creates intimacy, not the physical type, the type that holds more significance, the emotional connection that is so rare to find and impossible to forget. And here is what amplifies its strength. When she feels emotionally secure, yet slightly vulnerable, she starts to open up more than she intended. Not because you pressured her, but because you made her feel seen without demanding anything in return. That is uncommon. That is powerful. That is unforgettable. Now be attentive to her response should she offer one. Her words will reveal how she forges connections, what frightens her, what makes her vulnerable, what type of man she allows into her inner world. Utilize that information like a strategist, not to manipulate, but to act with precision, because the more she discloses, the more connected she will feel, and the more she will begin to view you as the only one who genuinely understands her. That is the kind of emotional bond that will keep her thinking of you long after your conversation has concluded. What is the most dangerous thing that someone has ever awakened within you? This question seems straightforward, but it penetrates deeply. You are not asking for a mere story. You are prompting her to recall an instance where she felt something intense, untamed, and difficult to control. A moment when someone connected with a part of her that was not gentle or safe, but was undeniably real. Most men will never venture into this territory. They ask about films, music, or her travel aspirations, safe, predictable, and forgettable topics. But you are asking about what resides in her shadows and telling her non-verbally that you are capable of handling it. That is a rarity. When you pose this question, her mind does more than just look for an answer. It begins to ponder. Could this man awaken something dangerous in me as well? That question sticks. It builds emotional tension, the kind that draws her closer even when nothing physical is occurring. Now, here is the secret. Maintain your composure. No pressure, no need for explanations or jokes. Simply allow the silence to do its work. That unwavering energy makes her feel secure enough to be vulnerable. She might smile nervously and say, "I don't know if I should be telling you this." Perfect. Do not push. Just say gently, "It's all right. Sometimes danger has its own beauty." That statement flips a switch inside her. Now you are no longer just another guy. You are someone she can be raw and unfiltered with, someone who sees her, not just the sweet, polished version, but her inner fire. And that kind of presence? It is unforgettable. If she does open up, listen with profound attention. Do not pass judgment. Allow her to feel understood. That is how trust is forged, not by playing it safe, but by demonstrating that you can stand in the fire alongside her. Then, after she has shared, lean in just a fraction and say, "Interesting. I get the feeling there's something even more dangerous you're not telling me." Now she is intrigued. Now she is thinking about what else she might be concealing and what you might awaken within her. That is how you become an obsession, not with pressure, but with presence. What is the craziest thing you would do if no one could ever discover it was you? This might seem playful initially, but it is not a game. It is a key. a key that unlocks a hidden chamber within her mind. When you ask this, you are not merely being inquisitive. You are inviting her to enter her private internal world, the one filled with fantasies, forbidden thoughts, and desires she would never admit aloud. This is the part of her that seldom gets a voice, but it is always there, always imagining, always dreaming, always craving. And here you are, providing a safe harbor for that side of her to breathe, free from fear and judgment. She will likely smile, laugh with a hint of nervousness, or say, "I probably shouldn't tell you that." Perfect. That hesitation is exactly the reaction you are aiming for. It confirms she is already contemplating it. And the instant she begins to imagine it, even if she never verbalizes it, she is linking that emotion directly to you. Now, you exist within her fantasy. Not because you forced your way in, but because you opened the door and stood by quietly. That is your moment to say, you don't have to voice it. The fact that you're thinking it means we already share the secret. With that single line, you have just established a clandestine world between the two of you. No touch, no direct flirtation, just tension, mystery, and imagination. You have given her a thrill and positioned yourself as the source of it. Now, every time she revisits that thought, she will remember you along with it. And that is the genesis of mental obsession. The best part? You never demanded she say anything. You offered her freedom and created space for her mind to roam unrestrained. And when a woman connects her fantasies to your presence, you transcend being just a man. You become an idea, and ideas are far more difficult to forget than faces. What kind of man is difficult for you to forget, even if you knew he wasn't good for you? This question appears simple, but it is deeply layered. You are not just asking about her romantic history. You are asking her to revisit a memory intrinsically linked to profound emotional chaos. A man who was not right for her, but who made her feel something powerful, something indelible. Nearly every woman has encountered a man like that. Not the ideal boyfriend, not the one who followed societal rules, but the one who made her feel intensely alive, confused, desired, on edge, a human storm. He might have caused her pain, he might have vanished, but he left an impression, and she still remembers it. You are not asking about her type or the man she would introduce to her parents. You are asking about her emotional addiction, the psychological high she keeps private. You are guiding her into the part of her mind where logic is absent, and only raw emotion exists. But here is the key to making it work. You remain calm, non-judgmental, and you are not trying to fix her. You are a steady presence while she recalls something intense. This contrast creates a sense of safety for her as she revisits danger. When she begins to answer, do not interrupt. Do not make jokes or say, "He sounds toxic." That would destroy the effect. Instead, respond softly with something like, "That reveals a lot about you. I appreciate what you're showing me." Those words grant her permission to continue, to delve deeper. And when a woman feels emotionally exposed but accepted, something rare occurs. She connects, not with the old memory, but with you. Because you are the one who enabled her to touch that emotion once more. And once she experiences that intensity in your presence, she begins to associate it with you. That is the mark most men fail to leave. Use this question when a certain vibe has already been established, during a quiet moment or a slow walk. Not in the initial minutes, but not after months have passed either. Timing is paramount. After she responds, say nothing. Hold her gaze and let the silence perform its function. Then say, "I feel like I understand you on a deeper level now," and offer a smile. That single moment is one she will not forget, because you did not just listen to her story, you held her truth without flinching. Has anyone ever attracted you and you had no idea why? At a glance, this question seems innocuous, almost lighthearted. But beneath its surface lies a psychological snare. You are not inquiring about her type or what she looks for in a man. You are asking about an experience she had, something that defied logic but pulled her in regardless. Now her mind must sift through those moments, the ones where rationality failed and something more profound took over. A glance, a presence, a strange magnetism she could not articulate. And as she reflects on this, a subtle shift begins to occur. She starts to wonder, am I experiencing that right now with him? That is the true purpose of this question. You are not pointing a finger at yourself. You are planting a seed of an idea. And once that seed is planted, her subconscious mind begins to nurture it without her conscious awareness. If she answers in the affirmative, if she admits this has happened before, that is your signal. You say calmly, with a faint smile, sometimes the things we can't explain are the most real. Then you cease talking. Do not over-explain it. Just let the silence occupy the space between you. Why? Because that silence feels significant. It gives her room to think and to feel. And within that space, the emotional tension amplifies. Now she is not just recalling past emotions. She is experiencing something new, something in the present, and you are the one connected to it. That is how you subtly enter her thoughts, not with loudness, but with quietude. Not by declaring, "I want you," but by making her wonder, why do I feel this way right now? This kind of emotional confusion, when executed skillfully, does not push her away. It draws her in, because her logical mind wants to solve the puzzle, but her heart wants to remain within it. That is how you transition from being an interesting guy to the man she contemplates at night without ever needing a reason why. What signs does your body give away when you're attracted to someone, but you're trying to hide it? This question is different. It does not ask for her feelings about someone. It asks how her body betrays her when she is actively trying to conceal her attraction. This implies, I notice the details that most men overlook. You are not being obvious. You are being perceptive. And that makes you seem unpredictable in the most compelling way. The moment you ask this, her mind begins to scan itself. She will recall instances where she felt a pull towards someone but tried to suppress it. And while she is lost in that memory, what do you think her body is doing? It is likely exhibiting those very signs. She might start toying with her hair, averting her gaze, or smiling nervously. And you? You are simply observing. Not saying much, not pursuing, just reading the situation. Then you calmly state, you just did one of them now. And you maintain eye contact, silent, still, confident. Boom. That single moment holds more power than any compliment, because it makes her feel exposed, but not in a negative sense. She feels seen, not for her appearance, but for something deeper, her body language, her instincts, her reactions. And that is an exceptionally rare feeling. Most men wait for clear, obvious signals. You are reading the cues she is not even aware she is sending. Now she becomes more self-conscious. Every time she is around you, her body will react, and she will begin to wonder if you are noticing it again. That is where the magic truly unfolds. Because once she is aware that you are tuned into her frequency, she can no longer hide, not from you. This is how attraction is built. Not through overt flirting, but through silent, simmering tension. Do not spoil it by laughing or attempting to flirt like an amateur. Hold the moment. Remain calm. Let the energy between you do the work. Here is the twist. When she answers and says something like, I get shy, or I tend to smile too much when I like someone, that is your opening. You respond with, interesting, because I've noticed that from you. Say it slowly, casually, then return to silence. It will subtly shake her. Just a little. Because now she is not contemplating whether she likes you. She is contemplating how much she is already revealing it, and that creates a feedback loop in her mind that she will not be able to turn off. So remember, this question is not about gathering information. It is about creating awareness. And once she becomes aware of her reactions around you, you have successfully entered her subconscious. And once you are in there, you are very difficult to remove. How do you behave when you start falling for someone, but you're not ready to admit it? This question is gentle, but it penetrates to the core. It is not a question that seeks a logical answer. It compels her to turn inward and look at her own reflection. You are not asking if she has ever been in love. You are asking how she acts when the process begins, especially when she is trying to resist it. That is a subtle, yet powerful distinction, because now her mind is not focused on some random person from her past. It is analyzing her current behavior right here, with you. And if even a minuscule part of her feels a pull towards you, this question will bring that emotion to the forefront. It creates a moment of self-realization, a mental spotlight. And who is standing in that spotlight with her? You are. She might laugh, look away, or confess something like, "I become distant," or "I pretend that I don't care." And that is your moment to strike, calmly, playfully, but with decisive impact. You smile and say, "So, if you start pulling away from me, it actually means I'm getting to you?" Now she is trapped in a delightful paradox, because even if she denies it, the suggestion has been made, and that seed has been successfully planted. You have taken a quiet internal feeling and given it a name out loud. And the human mind does not easily forget moments like that. This is how you slip into her subconscious, not by forcing a feeling upon her, but by leading her to admit that she might already be experiencing it. And here lies the deeper power of this question. You are making her disclose the exact signals she displays when she is developing feelings. So from this point forward, every time she exhibits those behaviors, she will wonder if you have noticed. She will wonder if she is already doing them in that very moment. And that small thought? It does not fade. It grows. So, do not rush this question. Ask it when the atmosphere is calm, when the conversation has naturally slowed, and when there is a hint of tension in the air, but no overt pressure. That is the perfect time. Because when a woman feels something and tries to conceal it and you see it anyway, she does not forget that. She is incapable of forgetting it. What is the biggest mark a man has ever left on you, even if he is no longer in your life? This question is quiet, but it carries significant emotional weight. You are not asking who hurt her or who changed her. You are asking what he did, what moment, what feeling, what specific energy left something permanent behind. And that is what sets this question apart. Because now, she is not just talking about a person, she is re-experiencing a feeling. Perhaps it was a gesture, a particular look, something simple but indelible, something that made her feel seen, desired, safe, or completely out of her own control. And here is the strategic move. When she describes what left that mark, you do not react like an insecure boy. You do not become jealous or ask for names. You listen, you observe, you learn. Because what she is actually doing is handing you her emotional blueprint. She is showing you the exact kind of emotional impact that stays with her long after a man has departed. And now that you possess that knowledge, you can begin to reflect that same energy in your unique way, with your own presence, not by imitation, not by trying too hard, but by embodying the same feeling, the same vibe that reached the deepest part of her. And here is the psychological twist. The human brain does not always distinguish between a memory and a current experience. So as she recalls that powerful moment while in your presence, her mind starts to link that feeling with you. You become the new face associated with an old flame. That is how you infiltrate her emotional operating system. That is how you go from being just some guy to the one who makes her feel something she thought was lost to the past. She will not even be able to fully articulate why she is so drawn to you, but she will be. Because this question is not really about her past. It is about replacing an old emotional imprint with a new one, you. All without ever having to state it explicitly. If someone could understand you without you needing to say a word, what place would they hold in your life? This is not merely a question. It is an emotional doorway. You are not asking her to define a title like boyfriend or partner. You are asking her to envision a presence, someone who comprehends her completely, without any need for explanation or effort. That is exceedingly rare. And that is why this question resonates so deeply. Most people, women especially, grow weary of trying to explain who they are, tired of being misunderstood, tired of being vulnerable only to be met with judgment or indifference. But this question achieves something different. It quietly proposes, what if I were the one who could understand you without words? The moment she hears it, her brain does not analyze it. It feels it, and she begins to imagine. She imagines what it would be like to be truly seen, fully, accepted, completely, understood, effortlessly. And if you have already cultivated a calm, grounded energy around her, she will start to place you in that role, without even consciously realizing it. That is the inherent power of this question. You do not ask her to imagine a future with you. You simply ask her to imagine what that type of person would signify to her. And her own mind does the rest of the work. If she responds with something like, a person like that is incredibly rare, you do not try to prove her wrong. You do not jump in to fill the silence. You simply state, maybe not as rare as you believe. Then, you pause. Do not utter another word. Let that silence expand. Let it sink in. Because silence, when timed correctly, is not an absence of sound. It is pressure. It is tension. It is a message. In that quiet interlude, she is no longer thinking about the question. She is feeling the answer. And that feeling now has your face attached to it. You did not force a single thing. You did not sell yourself. You simply guided her into an emotional space. And you allowed her to fill it with the idea of you. That is not seduction. That is influence. And the man capable of that? He is not someone she merely dates. He is someone she remembers. If even one of these questions made you think, just imagine their effect on her. Use them with precise timing, presence, and silence, and you will create emotions that most men can only dream of. Comment below. Which one will you use first? Tap the like button. Subscribe for more content like this, because words in the right hands are not just for conversation, they are for control.